Hey, everybody, this is Keith Saarloos, and you are listening to Chopping It Up on 105.9 Crazy Country. And this is where we take a little respite, a little half hour, to talk to somebody in the Valley of note. Talk to somebody of the Valley who's doing things that are new and exciting, and share it with everybody out there in the Valley. Because one of the things the Valley does really, really well is not only support its own, but also usually it goes through the telegram, telephone, tell somebody in the Valley, and it kind of gets around. And this is our opportunity here to talk about something you might not have heard. So today, our guest is Jamie Baker. He's the author of the Triple Crown trilogy, 3 plays set against the backdrop of Churchill Downs. He also has a play, All Americans, was selected by the National Playwrights Conference. Well, that's pretty impressive. And he's also written a musical called Kissing Evelyn. You Ate It is the book we're going to talk about today, and a little bit of lore behind it. And it's his first novel. So Jamie lives here in the Valley with his wife, his 3 kids, their 2 dogs, and he owns Space VR right here in Solvang. Jamie, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thanks, Keith. I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming. So how did you find the Valley?
Well, I first found the Valley in '79.
Okay.
As a high school senior.
Really?
Yeah, I went to high school down in Orange County for the last couple of years of my high school.
What high school?
We might have been rivals. I don't know. No, I went to Esperanza High
Did
School.
You really?
Yeah,
I know exactly where that is.
Right
awesome.
in Yorba Linda.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
That's probably back when it was all horse country.
Oh, it was less than that. Yeah. It was dirt.
dirt and a tomato and a ketchup factory.
And a great hamburger place called, I think, Knollwoods.
Perfect.
That's what I think it was. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I don't remember that one.
It looked a lot like the Valley. It was like a converted building that now is a hamburger store.
Got it.
So, I made the mistake one day of walking into the drama class following the girls in the drama class.
That's why everybody's in there.
That's where they go. And I decided, and I took the class and kind of got hooked. But I knew I wanted to be a writer, and I knew I wanted to be sort of a dialogue-based writer. So I thought, I could take this, learn more along about dialogue. So I started doing like the plays at high school.
Got it.
And really liked it. And then up here there was back at that time, late 70s, early 80s, the PCPA was sort of at its peak. I don't want to say peak, but it was
a big deal.
It was it was the economic engine that ran this town basically during the summertime.
Got it.
Because you would do a different play every single night. So
really?
Yeah, so the Theater Fest over there had a different show every single night. And we would rotate them back and forth from Santa Maria.
And you were performing in these?
Yeah, so I eventually had to get up on the stage because that's all they did. They didn't have writing courses.
Sure.
So I learned how to be a writer through acting. Because that's what I wanted to do. And so
you said the words and said, I could say better words than this.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, you learn a lot about subtext.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of writing is, what you don't write.
Sure.
And so just kind of fell in love with the Valley because we were doing, we do a Shakespeare one night, a musical the next night, we do a classic American, then a new play. Mm-hmm. And each week, so people would come from all over the country, all over the world, and stay in Solvang for 4 nights, 5 nights, because they could see 7 plays in 5 nights, and eat here, stay here, and kind of like that's what the town was in the summer.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of magic at that time. So stayed here for about 5 years, from 79 to 84, 85. Went to school PCPA, and then I kind of joined the company after that and worked here. But then after that, I, moved to LA and was writing, did a lot of writing there. Worked on, scripts, did my own plays while I was, trying to bang my way into the TV world.
Right.
And met my wife, got a little successful in there, and decided, let's just move to Seattle. And so we moved to Seattle for 12 years.
Really?
Yeah. And, had my shows done up in Seattle for a while. And then one day, this is going to turn into a completely different story, but then that's how we adopted my oldest daughter, was we were up in Seattle. And then once, we had a kid, we decided to, let's go back down to Southern California.
Right.
Because all our family was mostly in here in LA. And my wife's father was a famous songwriter in L.A., and so he had already passed, but it was still sort of our home.
Sure. You knew where the streets went.
Yeah, no, yeah. I know where they and where they don't.
Yeah. Totally.
And then we ended up sort of my passions kind of changed a little bit after having my oldest, and my oldest was basically, as I said, she was adopted, but her birth mother was a 14-year-old foster kid who was looking for parents, and we just within 48 hours of meeting this person, we were 8.5 months pregnant.
Wow.
And so we wanted to sort of kind of continue to build out our family, and I was consulting. I kind of switched my writing from working in theater and the arts, and then I sort of started consulting with LA County Parks and Rec, and then with foster care and mental health for kids, and ended up through that process adopting 2 more kids. So I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
My son graduates on Friday.
Congratulations,
my youngest,
by the way.
he graduates on Friday. And sort of, after doing a lot of this work and getting involved in this issue, found myself one day sitting behind a desk, being the head of development for LA County's largest child and welfare mental health agency, basically responsible with another part of our executive team for a $46 million budget.
Wow.
And just kind of like, wow, how did I get here?
Yeah.
But when you go into fund development, when you go into everything becomes storytelling.
Sure.
Everything you're trying to convey, what is happening now in this world and why we need to help it. And I was very good at being able to say, this is, the situation with foster kids in LA County right now. There's 50,000 kids who are sleeping on a pillow that shouldn't be, on the pillow that they need to be on.
Right.
And so when my kids got to a certain age and decided to want to get them out of LA a little bit.
Yep.
And so I had always been so happy here.
Yeah.
Living in the Central Coast in the early 80s and everything. It was always kind of my home, even though I'm from Kentucky. I spent more time in Seattle and LA, but this was always my home. And so I told my wife, I said, let's go back up Central Coast. So about 14 years ago, we moved back up here.
Magnificent. And then as you guys came up here, one of the more difficult parts of, living in the Valley, and a lot of people that live here in the Central Coast is, I have so many friends that live in Southern California. I grew up in Southern California, and they constantly say, oh man, I would love to live there, but all the work is here. Right. And they don't have an ability, excuse me, to just up and move.
Right.
Right. So when you moved up to the Valley, how did you drill your own well here?
Well, what I found out pretty soon, for a while I was consulting and going back and forth to LA and doing 2 days, and coming back.
There's
2
a
days
lot of
and coming
people who
back.
do that. Yeah.
And, but until they wanted me to open an office in Orange County, and I said, no, it's too far.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I got it.
But, my kids, once I got them up here, I thought, oh, wow, they'll love it. But my kids are not horseback riders.
Sure.
They're not athletes. They're not anything, but they're like me. They're a geek. They're nerds. They like their Harry Potter, Shakespeare, BBC, British, whatever things.
Yeah.
And my son is a computer nerd, and just builds people's computers all around town.
Awesome.
All his friends, he's built all their computers.
Right. Hot rodder.
Yeah.
It's really what it is. I mean, to a certain extent, it's that same mentality of someone, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s that was looking at a car and then saying, hey, I want a better radio in it, or I want a better this in it.
Right.
And then, when a computer comes along, it's that same mentality of a person who goes, oh, I can make this better.
Right.
Right. Or I don't like what's on the shelf. I'm going to make it my own. So I always think of that as that hot rod mentality. Of I'm going to go hack this thing together. Hacking a motorcycle together is very similar to hacking a computer.
And they start using, terms that are not in my head. Right. And I'm like, where did you get these engineering terms? Because I'm not an engineer.
Yeah.
Why are you using all these? But yeah, he's self-taught. He's a self-taught guitar player. But, he really likes these computers. So that's why I decided to start Space VR.
Yep.
It's because I wanted to create something for him and his siblings and something for them to do that they could kind of use their time.
Absolutely.
While they're growing up and cocooning here.
Right. Yeah. So this, you bring it. See, I love talking to you because you're using vernacular and terms that I think about as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I always, with my kids, similar story. It's like I moved here to raise kids,
right?
First and foremost. And I think there's a lot of people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought that this is the soil I want to plant those trees in.
Right.
And eventually they're going to outgrow the pot,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're going to be moving or doing whatever they do. But it is a fantastic place to raise your kids and give them as Sean Cassidy once said, it gives your kids an extra 4 years. Right?
It does.
Where if you're in Southern California or somewhere else, life happens pretty quick, and kids are racing to grow up. And here they get that space or that time of their life that they can kind of figure out who they are a little bit more without being forced into it.
Yeah, and I think, I'll tell you, when I foster, this could go on for hours.
Yeah, I understand. I
understand. One of my foster care positions when I was sort of working my way through those channels in LA is I used to work 12 miles deep in the Angeles Crest Forest.
Got it, yeah.
We used to have 120 foster kids up there.
Got it.
In what used to be Cecil B. DeMille's old Paradise Ranch up in Sylmar.
I know exactly
Lakeview
where
Terrace,
that is.
up by the Wildlife Way Station up there.
Yeah.
Which is incredible because you'll drive 12 miles on this dirt road. You lose Wi-Fi. I mean, you lose connection. You think someone is lying to you about something being up here. And then all of a sudden you come on what looks like a little tiny Glendale, a city of Glendale. And we had 120 kids up there. And it was a cocoon.
Yep.
But unfortunately with foster care, it's like when a kid turned to 18, I'm like, okay, do you know where Hollywood and Vine is? That's where you're, and it's like, that's a big splash of water in your face.
Yep.
As at that time. So yeah, it's great to cocoon and everything, but getting your toe wet in that sort of, if you're going to go into the big city, if you're going to do that, be ready and have some trials.
So let's transition just a little bit, because one of the things I want to talk to you specifically about is your book. And there's a lot of very exciting lore behind this book as well, which is really fun to talk about. So if you're listening right now, or when you're listening, if you're locked in, you're listening to Crazy Country 105.9, and this is called Chopping It Up with Keith Saarloos, and our special guest today is Jamie Baker, and we're going to be talking about his book now. So I was introduced to this book in a way I think quite a few people were, and that was The Pretentious Bore.
Right.
And The Pretentious Bore, for anybody who doesn't know, is one of my favorite Instagram accounts. And I was watching it and following it for a couple of years and seeing these really exciting pop-ups all over the valley, and food and story and everything that was going into it. And a friend of mine, Amy, I won't say her last name, she goes, "Keith, have you been to I see that you follow this guy or this restaurant. Where is it? I want to go." And I go, it's pretty tough to get into. It's pretty tough. I don't know if I can really talk about it. And she just kept hounding me. And so I hope I set this up correctly. So tell me about The Pretentious Bore.
Okay. Well, as I said, I was a writer, and then I kind of switched and transitioned my passions. And then once my kids got to a certain age and we came back up here, especially when COVID hit, and when I don't want to talk about too much, but I got cancer, and I had to what I basically did is I returned to my first passion, which was writing.
Yeah.
And I knew I wanted to do something different. I didn't think I had a novel in me. Okay. So I thought I was going to start off with a short story. So I started writing this short story about, it was about gullibility. It was about how we think, if we think about something hard enough and we flesh out all the plan A, plan B's, plan C's, plan D's, then we kind of are prepared.
Sure.
But in the end, we're gullible. And we're going to get smacked in the back of the head somewhere along the line, and we didn't see it.
Yep.
And
everybody's got a plan until the first punch gets thrown.
Right, yeah. Mike.
That's right. Good old Tyson.
And It just kind of you think you got this world figured out, and you don't. And so I wrote a story about a person who is trying to build a safe place for eventually becomes his family and the people that he loves.
Yep.
And I knew that I wanted it to be about two things, and one was about the collateral damage that happens at a school shooting, and the other was about how to navigate love in the era of mental health issues. So those were sort of my
two very important things. Yes.
Two kind of things I wanted to travel down while I was telling the story. So I started writing the story, which I thought was going to be a short story. I thought it was going to be 25 pages in. I'm in the middle of the third book right now. So I just released the first book on Sunday. Released You Ate It on Sunday. Then there's a second book that'll come out.
Well, say that again. So the name of the book is?
It's called You Ate It.
Got it.
Which is about, gullibility. It's like, found your face on the pavement again. And so part of the thing I loved about writing plays is sort of that energy that you feel between your audience and your actors. When something happens and you see the audience.
It's performative.
Well, and it's gasp.
Yeah.
You're passive, but you're not really as an audience member.
Yeah.
You're
part of it.
You're part of it.
Exactly right.
And I've experienced like three things in art. One was, watching Being John Malkovich.
Yep.
You kind of go, I think I actually am in his head. I don't think I'm in the movie theater anymore. I think I'm in his head.
Yeah.
And then there was a play called On the Verge that you kind of, all of a sudden, the writer and the actors convince you, you're not here in the theater anymore. You are actually on a spaceship, and we're taking you away.
Yep.
And as an audience member, you're kind of going, I'm going with you. I'm traveling. Well, I always felt when books, and that's what I wrote, I said, I don't think we ever really capture our audience that way. Reading a book is kind of passive. You're sitting in your couch in your pajamas and you're reading this story, and you can imagine it and stuff, but you're not really jumping into this book. So I wanted to find a way to get my audience to jump into the book, to actually be in the book, to be so gullible that they become part of the story.
Excellent.
And so that's what I did. I have some, there's some things like the first thing you see at the top of chapter 1, you'll see a QR code. You'll scan that QR code as a reader, and you'll kind of go, well, I've never seen anything like that in a book before, and it's kind of creepy. But then you start reading it, and then you start seeing more and more QR codes. And so you get into as the reader, not only are you reading the story, but you're scanning these QR codes.
Yep.
You're interacting with this book. Eventually, those QR codes start interacting with you.
A case in point, one of my favorite books, as I'm horribly dyslexic, and as you know, and one of the things about being horribly dyslexic means reading and writing is a chore, and it's not a easy chore. It's very difficult. Like I have to read a page 9 or 10 times before it actually sinks in. But one of my favorite books I ever listened to, or as I said, I read a book, and my wife goes, "You listened to it? That's not the same." But I think it's the same. It's just a different orifice it went in, right? And there was a book called Ready Player One.
Yeah.
And and I'm sure you know it. Yeah. And they made a movie about it. But the book was so great. And when you were reading the book, there were glyphs. There were things hidden inside of the book, and the author put them there on purpose, and it led to a website. Right. If you put it all together, and then you played a game, and whoever won the game won this guy's car. Like the author's car, which I loved. And your interactive aspect of this book is really intriguing to me.
So there comes a time where you have to call the main character.
Absolutely.
So what you don't know though in that act, because you're so caught up in this moment, because it's a very tragic moment in the book. But the book now has your phone number. Yeah. So the book is going to be calling you. Yeah. And the book's going to be talking to you while you're reading the rest of the book. And you're like, and you're going to be making, as the reader, you're going to be doing things that all of a sudden 60 pages down the road, you see your action within the story of the line.
Unbelievable.
And you're like, I made that happen as the reader.
So explain that again. I mean, because one of the things, and one of the reasons I wanted to have you on this show is I think that what you're doing is you're pushing past the fourth wall,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And all of a sudden you're a part of the story, which is, if you go into science fiction, there's so many pieces of that
Right.
are written about, but rarely does it ever happen to you,
Right.
Or you're watching, as a kid, I saw Phantom of the Opera with my family, and when the chandelier falls, spoiler alert, and there when that happens, and you're like, it was unnerving to me as a kid because like now I'm a part of this thing. It jarred me, and I think that's something that you're trying to do as well.
Yeah, and I'm trying to. If I've convinced you that you're part of the book, and you're going,
you won.
Well, I've got my audience where I want to have them.
Yeah.
There's the Instagram page, there's the Facebook page. So like when people are driving around and trying to find this restaurant,
Yes,
because
which I know people have.
I do too.
I mean, like, not to take anything away from your moment, but I know this is the great part, right?
Right.
But you starting this Instagram page, it started people hunting and looking, and hey, where do I go and how do I get there, and who was there and who was doing this, and it kind of fed into that little like bit of FOMO. Fear of missing out. And I
Right.
think to achieve that, even in a small way, right, with just the people who are following this thing, and I see this person following it, and how are they in the know and I'm not, is masterful,
well,
right?
the other thing is if you want to find people, the gullibility of people,
Sure.
you
Well,
go
we
to-
did write gullibility on the wall right behind you, so you can take a look
I'm
if
gonna
you
look, I'm
want.
gonna turn around any second now and look at that. You go to the internet.
Yeah.
You go to Instagram.
Sure.
Because the first rule of the internet is don't believe what you read.
yeah.
And
And,
so when people of course I was getting Keith, I was getting like
tell me some
emails,
of them. Please
like
tell
at,
me.
Like
Please
at
tell
2
us.
o'clock in the morning, I would get people really upset.
Excellent.
Like just like.
Oh, you're just trolling them. I love
but
it.
I'm not.
I love it.
I don't want to. But I also don't want to tell them the truth.
No,
I
it's
don't wanna-
white hat. You're not maliciously doing it.
I know, but I
it-
would get I'd get some drunk text.
That's
Because
amazing.
there's a phone.
I love it.
The restaurant has a phone number. In the book, you call the restaurant, and you get the restaurant.
Amazing.
But I would get things on the recording, or I would get, people just really upset that I'm kind of excluding them.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever.
Well, like, why won't you return my calls?
I am so and so.
Ooh,
If you don't know
that's
this,
good.
I am
That's
so and
good.
so.
That's good. Did I send one of those?
No,
Oh, good.
you were like, let's eat. You were like, I'm hungry, let's eat. And I'm like, okay, let's eat.
Let's eat. Okay. Okay.
And sometimes I was playful, and then sometimes I would just have to let it go. Eventually, I started having to tell people. I started because there was a phone number associated with there were things I wasn't prepared for.
Sure.
Like people texting me their resumes to work at the restaurant.
Okay. Cool.
A lot of
I love it.
a lot of vineyards wanting to schedule tastings.
Sure.
A lot of musicians who wanted to send me their tapes so they could play in the bar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't want, because now when I'm not responding, it seems kind of mean, and I didn't want that.
Yeah. Elitist.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I thought, oh, I don't want to make. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm here to create illusion and kind of thing. And so I eventually started opening the door and letting certain people know.
Right.
Now there are real people in this valley who, I don't know if I was at Flatbread on Sunday. We launched the book at Flatbread because Flatbread is my favorite restaurant in the world.
Yep.
And it's because of what Clark does. He does the same thing. He creates a different story every week with his food.
It was the first person I called when we started the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I told everyone the story about, I didn't know if I had a novel in me. So I had to make myself very disciplined. And I put myself on this writing regimen of 2,000 words a day,
Yep.
10,000 words a week.
Piece of cake.
And if I hit that goal, I would drive out to Flatbread and have dinner on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Because that drive in and out, I could really...
The pilgrimage.
Yeah, it's the pilgrimage.
Yeah, very much so. I feel that way all the time.
And
I'll hop in the car and my wife will say, "Hey, what do you want to do tonight?" And it could be a long day and tired, and I don't have much of a commute, and I'm like, call Flatbread, I'll go get it.
Yeah,
and
you
drive out there, and you get that 15-minute drive there, and then when you get there, you can chop it up with Clark for a little while, and then pick up your food and drive home, and you're in a totally different headspace than when you left.
And for me, I would work out the things that worked work out the things that didn't work that I knew I'd have to rewrite the next
Got it.
day.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the things that kind of stumped me, and I thought, how do I get that character to go there?
Yep.
Or why does this character need that I'm not giving it, kind of thing. So that pilgrimage drive became sort of very cathartic for me, and so I'd be out there. So eventually, Clark and Jill became characters in the book.
Yeah.
They're like real people.
Broke the fourth wall
I
yet
broke
again.
the fourth wall, which makes people, when they're reading their book, are saying, "Wait, I know Clark and Jill.
Yeah.
I don't know this Michael and Natalie
Yep.
and his first wife and their kid. I may have met Wendell at the Maverick.
Yep.
I don't know."
You kind of created a nom de plume for a character that actually exists, but put it in a book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
get
told him, I said, look, Clark, you made the mistake of walking into my book. I didn't do it. You did it. And he goes,
I guarantee he loved it.
oh, he is so giving in every aspect of his life. It's like, I'll walk into your book.
Well, your story in the beginning where you're working with foster kids and things like that, Clark did so many things like, starting the farmer's market, in LA and things like that. It's and working in the music industry and this and that. It's like your two souls are very, very closely aligned.
And I felt very connected. So when I built the main character of Michael, it was like he kind of found his, it kind of rival, mentor, person he just felt, rings true in the world, kind of, and that kind of what Clark's like the third lead character. So when they do the billing in the movie, it's
Piece of cake. Who's playing Clark?
I've already cast the movie, but
Excellent.
So it's that's why flatbread becomes so important. But there's also other places around town. As a matter of fact, Keith, when I first started writing this, I'm going to tell you, I told you this already.
I'll listen.
But I had to, you start to have to image people in town and the first person, you know all these people. So I create like, what does this guy look like? What's that? And at first, my main character kind of looked like Ernst.
Yeah, I
Ernst
get it.
Storm. Then
Perfect.
And then it kind of transferred to you.
Oh, well, thanks.
And then
Poor guy. Poor guy.
Then you showed up later as a different character, but I've also transitioned that one out. But that's kind of what you do. You kind of like watch people, and then it kind of transitioned to, eventually it kind of the main character kind of started turning into like Connor Oberst.
Got it. You got it.
But it's kind of how they morph into once they start finding their real skin. The characters do.
Well, you're really inventing a person, and that's kind of a, when you're talking about plays and putting words, you're really putting words into people's mouths, right?
Or they're putting words on my page.
That better way to put it,
Yeah,
right?
Because I'm just watching sometimes. Most of the time, I'm just watching and listening. And,
Interesting.
And just going, and I'll know when I'm at a roadblock. Like right now, I've been at a writer's block for about a year on the third book.
Really?
And it's mainly because I know how it ends.
Yeah.
And now that I know the characters who are still alive know how it ends.
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe we just don't want this to end. So maybe we're going to stop talking.
I love it. That's absolutely amazing. Not to cut you off, but we only have a few minutes here.
Uh-huh.
So, you put a labor of love into something for years and years. It's you said a 3-book arc.
Right.
Okay. This is the first book called?
This one's called You Ate It.
And
the second one is called Tastes Like Chicken. And the third one is called The Unbroken Egg.
Excellent. Where can they, where
everywhere where books are sold.
Everywhere that books are sold.
On your phone, you can buy it on your phone for an ebook. You can buy it in your local bookstore. You can buy it,
Is it here at the Book Loft?
Yeah, it's at the Book Loft. We had a signing on Monday.
Excellent.
And anywhere there are books sold, you'll find it. Walmart. You'll find it in Walmart.
How about that?
It's actually it's only been on the market for 2 days, but it's number 17 in the fiction category in independent bookstores right now.
Congratulations.
It's because of everybody, for a couple of years wanting to eat at the restaurant. Well, now they're eating through it on the pages.
Well, and I love this story just personally, right? I love the fact that creating something that people are interacting with on a bunch of different levels. It is a story of the valley, for a certain extent, where it's like real people, real things, real, like anything, any book, any movie,
Right.
that they're trying to tell a story but also be entertaining, right?
Right.
And bringing you into a world that is based in reality, but definitely fiction
Yeah.
is something that's incredibly hard to do. And the fact that you would actually sit down and chop wood for 2,000 characters a day
Yeah.
is absolutely amazing to me.
Well, Sideways, what helped the phenomenon of our wine industry and our valley
Agreed.
and our reputation is what Rex put down in his book in
Yes.
Sideways. And so you I like the idea that a lot of the impression is built on the literary lore of the valley.
Well-
And I'm just hoping my book follows right in line with that.
I think one of the most beautiful parts of the valley, and one of the things that rarely gets spoken about, is the well of creativity of people
Yeah.
that live here.
Yeah.
Right. This valley is full of mavericks, and it's full of people that are unemployable, right, in any other
Right.
shape or form, and then, but also have that mix, that potent mix of audacity, tenacity, and then having a victorious mindset, right? It's Clark. Go back to Clark and a character in your book, to go out into the middle of quote unquote nowhere,
Right.
in Los Alamos, and say, I'm going to put up a pizza place, but it's not really a pizza place. I'm going to do something different out here.
Yeah.
I think this valley, Clark is an excellent representation of that. But we have so many people here that are drilling their own well, that they're coming out, they're living in this place because they want to live here. And then it's kind of like pushing the difficulty level to 9,
Right.
and say, I need to survive here. What am I going to do?
Right.
And then all of a sudden you are pushing yourself, like you're saying, 2,000 words a day, chopping wood every single day, come hell or high water, you're going to make it.
Right.
And I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy for you,
Well,
because
thanks.
you put a lot of effort into this, and creating a world is not an easy job.
No, but it's fun. And when it's fun when it works.
What else? Give us the places we can find you. We know we can find You Ate This at You Ate It, excuse me, at anywhere books are sold. Everybody who's listening to this, go out, buy your copy, put it on yourself, read it, go cover to cover, become part of the story.
Become part of it.
And where can they find you online and in person?
Well, I think I said I own Space VR, which is the only virtual reality education entertainment center between LA and San Francisco. So we actually draw people from Salinas from Camarillo who come up to kill zombies for the most part.
Yeah.
But that's what they like to do. But so I'm over down there next to Virgil Elings, who's also in the book.
Yep.
Who has the one-of-a-kind motorcycle museum.
Yep.
It's the only one in the world.
It is a true gem.
Yeah.
A true gem.
So I'm just down there in where mostly kids, it's a 12-year-old hangout.
Yeah.
But we get
Skate shop it's a skate shop for kids who love computers.
yeah,
yeah.
We serve 8 to 80. We get the military from Vandenberg.
Yep.
We get the older population that love to come and figure out the mysteries and the natures and exploring the worlds and stuff. And then we get the zombie killers. We get a lot of zombie killers.
Okay. And then Pretentious Boar is still on Instagram.
Yes, it will. It's going to morph now.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
Now that it's out in the
secret
public.
out?
It's the secret is out locally, and anybody who's read the Santa Barbara Independent and Newshawk, I know there's some LA publicity going to hit pretty soon. But I'm probably going to pull it back to make it those who are completely unaware of it. I want it to go back to being just a restaurant.
Don't give it away the punchline. Don't give away the punchline on it.
No. So I want it to continue. I want it to be as real as it possibly can.
Yep.
But just don't be fooled by its pronouns.
I love it. So this is Keith Saarloos, and you've been here with Jamie Baker, and he wrote You Ate It, which is it's number 17 Congratulations,
Thank you.
by the way. Bestseller. Might as well just say
Just
it.
go ahead.
There you go.
On its way.
On its way. You're basically looking at the ground floor of a rocket ship.
You're looking at the horse that's right off the side, heading the final stretch as they head to the finish line.
Oh, another Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. You've been listening to Chopping It Up with Keith Saarloos on Crazy Country 105.9. Now back to your regularly scheduled music. Have a great Saturday, everyone.